is Mary. This is the Harboring Light. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So, mentioning social media, X, Minds, and also can use Substack as a form of social media. All those links will be provided for you. And also, buy me a coffee. That link will be provided for you. You enjoy my content, it would be greatly appreciated if you click that link and support. And I will also have extended content on there. You request content that you would like for me to cover. It will also be on there as a work in progress too. And also, to add on to this, instead of a newsletter, I'm thinking about a more creative way to rehash things and give monthly concerns or yearly concerns about things that are going to be in the horizon and all of that and so forth. So I will be working on adding in harbor notes at the end of future episodes. So, moving on to audio content. I am on Audible, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Audible, Spotify for podcasters, Pocket Cast, Overcast, and I'm definitely looking to grow to wherever you enjoy your content. I am on it. So this episode is part 2 of Guthrie, and I'm mainly focusing on the musical attributions and pop culture references to his musical attributions. All right, so let's get into it. Alright, so before I get into speaking on the music, particularly the songs, and doing more analytic perspectives and going back and tying into pop culture references about his music, I like to give some more thoughts overall about his running message. So I think it's very interesting, uplifting, and highlighting and expelling on the common man and the plight of the common man. I don't necessarily agree with the whole, particularly with the communist movement, uplifting and recognizing and ties with all of that, as far as what I was speaking on in the first part. I think the communist ideas are it's just in bad faith. It's just very strange to me, because from what I understand, for the most part, it's we all get the same, no matter what work you put into, and you just an all-inclusive idea about things, and never an individual sort of aspect about the human condition, as far as being prosperous, as far as hard work and so forth, and as far as protection of the family and so forth. Now, on the other hand of this, I think his music is a really good example of the importance of unity within that we're all in this together, and that we have to appreciate other people's struggles to make us better. And then within that, we start to realize the reality of the world that we're living in. And then from that, changes could happen, where it be policies in our government, where it be communities becoming more connected with each other, wanting to help out each other, understand each other, where it be particularly the issue of more along the lines of how I relate to this as charity within the communities to wipe away from the need for harsh, as for example, the need for, if someone is struggling, the need for being on governmental assistance per se, when your community can help you, as far as your neighbor, as far as even within their own families coming together to help and out and bring their own successes and their own blessings to other family members who are within need. And of course, there's always consequences to helping, but I think that it is better to rise above and still reach out a helping hand. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about his body of work. This Land Is Your Land. Guthrie adopted the melody of a Carter family pen hymn for the original song, which extols the beauty of America. Though it commemorates America's redwood forest and Gulf Stream waters, the song moves further into being ambiguous in later versions. In the original version, it goes on to describe the singer's refusal to acknowledge someone's designation of land as private property. Then asks if America really is made for you and me, in light of the existence of hunger and poverty. The remnants of its popularity is not due to censorship. Guthrie tied the original song in protest to Irving Berlin's God Bless America, which he deemed offensive to the realities of the Great Depression and the plight of the poor people of the Dust Bowl. As he became increasingly aware of issues of class, he wrote a song that brought together his country's glory and pain in a microcosm of the American experience. The political mainstream of these times didn't see things the way Guthrie did, which made it an expression Americans at the time were not willing to address. Ironically, Guthrie himself shortened the song in a 1947 recording session. By the time it was included on an album in 1957, the United States moved past its economic problems. School children began to use Guthrie's song, including the shortened version, and as its popularity grew, his protest marks were lost. And as a side note, this song was also used in car and airline ads. And also as extra note, before I get into talking about this song, when I mentioned 1957 about the album, is actually 1951 when this recording was, well as on the album of 1951 when it was in the mainstream in the United States. All right, so let's get into it. And also as an extra note, the pronunciation of the inspiration for one of the composers for This Land Is Your Land is actually Irving Berlin. All right. So let's get in and talk about the rest of this song. So to add on to my mentioning about This Land Is Your Land in reference to ads, I'm going to give an example, particularly with the Super Bowl ad of 2015. So, Beautiful Land presented the new compact Jeep Renegade, a vehicle that is built in Italy on the same assembly line as Fiat 500X. One of the last messages in the ad is the printed line, America's smallest, lightest SUV. The 90-second ad also served an environmental message and ended with the taglines, "The world is a gift. Play responsibly." Then in a reference for water is life without explaining. Along with help provided, Jeep explained their involvement in water.org in a news release. Along with this, all right, so in this Jeep ad, the first few stanzas of the song, which is written by Guthrie in 1940, showcases a travelogue of beautiful scenes from across the United States into a global panache that includes the Great Wall of China and the Christ statue overlooking Rio de Janeiro. In the first stanza, "This land is your land" is memoriam by many Americans, ending as it does. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. Jeep overlaid those words by flipping from scenes of the Grand Canyon to the giant trees to Manhattan by a foamy beach. Then the Jeep spot paused for just a second or two, going to gray, and shifted to a set of scenes from Asia, Europe, and around the world over the next two stanzas of the song. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that in the sky, I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. All around me, a voice was a sounding. This land was made for you and me. Jeep is the main brand engine for Fiat Chrysler. They were ambitious to become a truly global car company. After the ad ran during the Super Bowl, Fiat Chrysler released a statement in which it said that beautiful lands take a unique and surprising twist upon the iconic piece of music. This land is your land. Written as a crowning tribute to America's homeland and expands its interpretation into a global celebration of all lands across the world. The catalyst that takes viewers on an unexpected musical and visual odyssey. The ad creates a connection to show the Jeep's brand's evolution. The song and the Beautiful Lands video share a message of freedom and a reference, and also introduce This Land Is Your Land to a new generation of fans, inviting a fresh and new appreciation for the song. But actually, another reason the ad's creative might be perceived as provocative is because of the barbed origin of This Land Is Your Land. Though it's become an American classic, the song is understood to have been a short of a commentary by Guthrie from the left, in particular a response to Irving Berlin's God Bless America, sang by Kate Smith, which was ubiquitous at the time. Shared politics are certainly a reason that Guthrie's folks singing song, Arlo Guthrie and Peter Seeger, are said to have performed the song more often than anyone else. In fact, a further window into Guthrie's views is provided by another verse of This Land Is Your Land that was written by Woody Guthrie but never recorded, and which the Jeep ad didn't include. It goes as follows. There was a big high wall there that tried to stop me. The sign was painted, said private property, but on the backside it didn't say nothing. This land was made for you and me. Presumably, Fiat Chrysler CMO Oliver Franskos was familiar with the above history of the song, all of it and more, when he chose This Land Is Your Land for the original ad in Super Bowl of 2015. A former music and industry and impresario, Franskos has elevated the company's brands and made huge impressions on the popular culture in the last 4 years with Super Bowl ads that have relied heavily on musicians, and their impact, including Eminem and Bob Dylan, for examples. Fiat Chrysler didn't make Franskos available for comment before it aired the big game ads on Sunday. But in a statement, Franskos said that his company always strives to do something different, something unexpected, yet with a purpose. This was no exception in 2015 for the Super Bowl videos. He did mention the Jeep ad. The Fiat 500X is an important global launch for U.S. Franco said, and 100 years is a significant landmark for an automotive brand, and Dodge is our first U.S. brand to reach this milestone. All right, so let's get into some more cultural references. So I'm going to talk about The Simpsons, particularly the episode Lisa the Tree Hugger. Now, this was season 12, episode 4, and it originally aired in on November 9th of 2000. Now, I think it's common opinion that The Simpsons fashions themselves on the point to point out the subculture. So, let me address more about this particular episode. So, This Land Is Your Land is a parody with the song This Log Is My Log. And this is heard at the end of the show. So, this show actually centered around Lisa's request to save Springfield's oldest redwood tree by living in it, as it is a reference to the real-life story of Julia Butterfield Hill and a redwood tree called Luna. So I'm going to explain more about Julia Butterfield Hill. Here we go. All right, so Julia Butterfly Hill is an American activist known for having lived in a tree for 738 days in an act of civil disobedience to prevent clear-cutting of ecologically significant forests. From December 10th, 1997 to December 18th, 1999, Hill lived in a 1,000-year-old California redwood tree named Luna and drew media attention to the environmentally destructive logging actions of the Pacific Lumber Company, PALCO, under its new owner, Maxim Corp., controlled by Charles Hurwitz. Hill was homeschooled in a deeply religious Christian family that settled in Jonesboro, Arkansas. She began college courses at the age of 16 and opened her own restaurant at 18. After a near-fatal car crash in 1996, she began to reassess her life's purpose. Traveling west, she had a spiritual epiphany in California's redwood forest and redirected her energies in joining the environmentalist movement to curb the destruction of the world's remaining ancient redwoods. Her 1997 protest in Humboldt County, which broke world records for the tree sitting sought to prevent deforestation, drew media attention to PL's disregard for the environment and educated the public about this role forests play in stabilizing hillsides. PL repressed employee whistleblowing. Therefore, Hill publicized their new clear-cutting policy that reserved PL's previous environmental sensitivity. Supported by supplies from Earth First, a coalition of radical environmental activist groups, Hill lived on a 6-by-8 foot platform, sheltered by tarps high in the tree, and communicated by cell phone. She faced extreme weather, was subjected to illness, and numerous attempts by PL to force her down, including the use of floodlights and loudspeakers. After more than 2 years in the tree, her achievement was that to protect Luna's immediate surroundings and included a $50,000 donation to Humboldt State University for forestry research. Hill co-founded the Circle of Life Foundation, or CLIF, committed to transforming human interactions with nature in 1999. She published a book about her tree-sitting experience, The Legacy of Luna, the story of a tree, a woman, and the struggle to save the redwoods in 2000. In 2002, she was deported from Ecuador while protesting the Occidental Petroleum Corporation plan for a new pipeline through the indigenous community of the Mindo Naboli Reserve. Hill joined the war tax resistance movement in 2003 to protest the use of her federal taxes in the Iraq War. Now, in 2006, she participated in a tree sit at Community Forum in South Central Los Angeles to protect working class immigrant farmers. All right, so this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. And of course, feedback is really important. So contact me. Questions, comments, concerns, where it be email, where it be Substack, X, or Minds. All right, so tune in, turn up, and definitely take care. And on Friday, I'm going to talk about more of Woody Guthrie's songs and give more analysis, and then wrap everything up, and also give clues and plugs for the next American folk artist that I will cover on Monday. All right, take care.